Hello, and thanks for joining us. As the economy reacts to tariffs on international goods, we continue to assess the local impact. Today, reporter Emily Haugen explores how tariffs could affect a Brooklyn Park business in the audiovisual industry.
Inside this warehouse, it's the calm before the storm. Workers are gearing up to put on one of EideCom's 80 eye-catching events.
So we do the audio-visual part of a large meeting, a corporate conference, any sort of large corporate gathering where a company wants to really impact their people.
Founder Charles Eide says there's a huge demand for these events, which cost between hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to make happen.
They're doing events at a pace we've never seen before. We're talking about companies are doing more events than they were even before COVID.
Though tariffs could make the price of putting on those events go up because that equipment is largely imported. But it isn't as simple as the cost of groceries.
It shows you how complicated and how fine-grained all of these effects are.
University of Minnesota professor George Johns says one thing is certain: tariffs have gone up since January.
You've got a whole bunch of different things coming in, a lot of which is imported. But they're not imported for that activity at hand.
This is like a big box lens.
In EideCom's case, most of his products are built to last many years, and the company has a backlog. John says that will serve businesses like EideCom well.
For long-run equipment, for long-lived equipment, what we normally call durable goods, you're not going to see immediate price changes.
Eide agrees. Though much of his products are made outside the country, he's hopeful tariffs will encourage companies to come to the U.S.
If we bring manufacturing to the United States, we're going to have hundreds of thousands more event jobs just in the making of this equipment.
Eide thinks this could only help the economy grow. And in the meantime, he says his business isn't slowing down anytime soon. In Brooklyn Park, Emily Haugen, CCX News.
Meanwhile, amid economic uncertainty on a national level, a new report showed job gains in Minnesota. Minnesota employers added more than 10,000 jobs last month. It's the largest monthly gain in a year. However, the unemployment rate ticked up 0.1% due to more Minnesotans joining the labor force. Recent federal mass layoffs were not yet reflected in the numbers. And here's a look at unemployment in local cities. Plymouth and Maple Grove are slightly below the state's unemployment rate of 3.1%. Brooklyn Park, Crystal, and Brooklyn Center, meanwhile, are above the statewide level. The national unemployment rate is 4.2%, the same as Brooklyn Center's rate. Tuition could go up at Minnesota State colleges by as much as 18% over the next 2 years. That's according to a summary shared with the Minnesota State Board of Trustees this week. This price change would affect the state colleges we have locally, both Hennepin Technical College and North Hennepin Community College. The hikes in tuition are the result of Minnesota budget shortfalls, impacting how much the state can pay to help schools. The scenarios proposed call for either 3.5%, 7%, or 9% tuition increases each year over the next 2 years. Neither local college was available for comment this week. A dentist in Golden Valley is urging people to be screened for head and neck cancer.
Everyone should be screened because it's not only those people that are in those risk categories, it really can happen to anyone.
On Thursday, dozens of people made their way to Valley Dental Group in Golden Valley for a free oral cancer screening courtesy of Dr. Brian Evanson. The event is part of Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Week, where doctors examine a patient's head, neck, ears, nose, skin, and the inside of their mouth. Experts say head and neck cancer is the 6th most prevalent cancer in the United States. Smokers and drinkers used to be the most at risk, but now doctors encourage anyone above the age of 16 to be screened.
If there's a way to screen for this kind of cancer in this method, it's not invasive, it's very easy, it doesn't take very long. It's just very worthwhile.
If you couldn't make it to one of the screenings this week, experts recommend staying up to date on your dental visits because dentists can detect symptoms of oral cancer that may require further attention. In Brooklyn Park, it's an annual tradition where competition also builds community. The annual Cops and Teens basketball tournament took place Thursday at Zanewood Recreation Center. The game pits police against kids in grades 6 through 11. But for those involved, the event is more than a showcase of who's got game.
I think engagement opportunities like this provide us the opportunity to shed some positive light on policing and show kids that, we're just like them. We like to have fun. We like to get out here, play some basketball, and just build a positive partnership.
Like, cops not all bad. They all got good to them. And you just get to know them some more, give like a good feedback and stuff.
I know a lot of kids look up to me and want to be in my position. So just, coming back here and just seeing the kids and, communities come together is a big thing for me to see and for me to support.
That's Lukai Patterson, a Gopher basketball player. Patterson did not play, but was there to cheer the teams on. With Easter right around the corner, local flower shops are preparing for customers to hop on in this weekend.
You don't have to have an extravagant, you can have a nice little small arrangement too. So we create it all.
Staff members at Cardell Floral and Crystal expect to be busy this weekend with people buying everything from plants to tropical-looking floral arrangements to Easter lilies. They say they've also received a couple of hundred orders from churches looking to decorate for the holiday.
The smell, the sight, the freshness, the birth, it's just, when we live in Minnesota and it's dreary and it's gray and things aren't blooming and you can bring a bit of spring or pop into your home, makes a huge difference.
Meanwhile, Mother's Day is coming up in 3 weeks, so they expect that to be another busy week. Their advice to people is to get your orders in early.
The first fully sanctioned Minnesota State High School League season of boys volleyball is in full swing. It's been a solid start for Wayzata. Jay Wilcox has highlights from the Trojans match against Hopkins.
Hopkins paying a visit to Wayzata for Lake Conference boys volleyball. The first set is all Wayzata. Kai Westman's serve leads to an overpass that's put away by Jacob Aslanishvili for an early lead. Off the Hopkins serve, good passing for the Trojans, and Griffin McLean puts it away. Wayzata goes up 9-2. They do it with defense, too. Maxwell Murtha gets up for the block of the Royals' attack, and Hopkins can't recover. Wayzata rolls to a 25-14 win in set one. Hopkins is much more competitive from there. Second set, and Joseph Rinaldi on the attack delivers for the Royals. It's tied at 13-13. It's tight all the way. The Royals set it back row to Owen Barnett for the kill, and Hopkins has an 18-17 lead. Off a scramble, Wayzata's Gavin Kinsel attacks the second ball and gets the kill. The Trojans are within 21-20. And Wayzata pulls it out. Annie Kata's hit is off the blockers and scores a point as Wayzata wins 25-23. They also take the third set by the same score to get the sweep. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The Wayzata boys tennis team had a win to start the season, then had a tough opponent at home on Wednesday. Chaz Moots has highlights.
Two of the top boys tennis programs in the state, Wayzata and Mounds View, facing off. TennisRecruiting.net has Mounds View's Soren Swenson ranked first in the state. Wayzata's Aaron Badoon ranked second. Some long rallies between the two. Badoon with a big forehand swing, right hand, right side, point for the senior. Swenson battled though. Badoon and him are going back and forth all afternoon. Swenson gets the better of Badoon on this point, and he'd win the match 6-3, 6-4. Second singles, Ethan Turnin going up against Max Daigle. Some good placement from Daigle, just keeping the ball inside for the set point. Next set, Turnin answering back. He shows some touch and placement just inside the left OB line. Turnin wins the match 3-6, 6-4, 10-4. The Mustangs and Trojans split singles 2-2. In first doubles, Nolan Badoon and Tommy Prodzinski were clicking. Prodzinski up at the net for the point. Later on, this is how you draw it up. Badoon great serve, and then Prodzinski waiting at the doorstep to fire back. They won 6-3, 6-0. The Trojans won all three doubles, all three in 2 sets. Rishi Ranjith smart play here in second doubles. Wayzata had to work for it, but they defeat Mounds View 5-2. In Plymouth, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
After a solid start, the Maple Grove baseball team hit a rough patch this week. They hope to turn things around against Buffalo. Jay Wilcox has highlights.
Maple Grove hosting Buffalo in prep baseball at Gleason Field. Leading 1-0, Buffalo's Nolan Mullenbach tags it to deep right field. Teddy Salas and Dolan Brisk score on the hit to make it 3-0 Bison in the top of the third. Maple Grove comes back in the fourth as Oliver Tainton slaps it through the left side of the infield. Becca Chimpa scores and Connor Johnson dives around the tag with another run as the Crimson have the momentum and they pull within 3-2. But after a sac fly makes it 4-2, the big blow here as Caleb Johnson slugs it over the left fielder's head and out for Buffalo. A 3-run homer in the top of the fifth makes it 7-2 Bison. Aiden Martinet works out of trouble in the fifth, getting the strikeout with runners at second and third. He works 5 strong innings for the win as Buffalo beats Maple Grove 7-2. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.